Okay, three trades today. Negative day overall. Lost half an hour in terms of points. Seems today I was working for the broker. Basically, given that most of what I've lost, if you add it up, was mostly commission. I think my net loss for the day was around €90, of which maybe 50 was commission. So like I said, today I was working for the broker. Well, okay, what did I do today? First trade I attempted was in crude. Right on the direction, got my stop gunned. Basically there, my failure was that I failed to realize that I was in the first downdraft of ABC correction. Just that I got too miffed after the first stop out that I didn't, get muster the courage to go for the second. Given that, the crude's been basically under a lot of pressure. So I figured I'd stay out of that one. From there, my attention went to the Dow Mini. Unfortunately, I saw the downdraft coming, but by the time I decided to do anything, it had already gotten too far, and so I didn't do anything. Froze a little bit there, unfortunately. However, when I hit around the 12,000 mark, I saw an opportunity to get in. I saw the signal. The first one, did good execution. Set my stop for the top of the middle bar, or the low bar. Got my fill. Set my stop about 3 points below the low of the bar, which was a bit too tight because the thing then went down and stopped me out at 11,992. So I had my stop at 11,993, and they got my stop. Again, it's a problem of stops are too tight. It's a question of deciding, whether I should, give a little bit more margin or reduce my risk. Like I said, we're learning here. I think the best thing to do here would probably use the rule of 7. So take the low at 7 and set that as my stop, or take the high at 7 and make that as my stop in the case of a short trade. In the meantime, I wasn't going to get cheated out of the opportunity. I went long again about an hour later, where the opportunity surged. Again, set my entry the same way I did the first one. This one was a little bit more successful. I got my fill at 12.06. Set my stop at 11,990, which is about 2 points below the low. I said, well, this time if it didn't go this time, forget it. Let myself get stopped out. So I gave myself a 16-point risk there. It wasn't a lot, but then probably what I have to start looking at is I'm looking at 20 points as a general risk from my entry into my stop loss. Leave a 20-point gap and just look for the entry signal and execute. End of story. The thing got as high as 12.034, which wasn't bad. It was a 28-point gain from my entry. However, the thing rapidly started turning down after about 12.32. It just saw a downdraft on the 1-minute chart, hit the 40 bar moving average and the lower Bollinger Band line, and I said, hey, I worked enough for the banks, just get out, and took the signal, and I did well because the thing went down to about 11,999. And I originally set a trailing stop at about 12.016, so I got a little bit earlier than my stop level, but I saved myself, maybe about 6 or 8 points, which hey, pays commissions, and that was good enough for me. Well, like I said, overall the week wasn't too bad. I didn't make a lot of R's here. Unfortunately, that oil trade, I didn't get that oil trade on Wednesday. That would have made my week, and that would have been fantastic. But hey, like I said, things don't always work out. That's it. Overall, pretty good trading. Today was 1 for 3. Yesterday was 1 for 3, but I did a better at about 3 trade there. The day before, minus half R. The day before that, minus 2.5. The day before that, plus 5.3. So hey, like I said, a little bit more consistency here than I'm been used to. So hey, not too bad. Okay, that's it for today. Like I said, this week we're going down to the Algarve, so we'll be resting up, and like I said, maybe Sunday, maybe do a little bit of research, try to plan the week ahead. But hey, gotta make money. Gotta make money. See you later.